video is going to be a video for the TI-89 calculator users, and it's on making an exponential model with your calculator. So I just have some data here. You can see the x and the y data, and it says to write an exponential model using your calculator, and I remind you of what an exponential model is, and then predict y when x equals 7. So first and foremost, you need to go to your calculator and go to your apps button, which is next to alpha, and you want to find your stat list editor and choose it, and then go ahead and type in, I think I already have it in there, go ahead and type in your data. Let me just remind you, if you have some data in there that you don't want in there, if you go on top of the list, you can do clear enter, and that will wipe out everything. So if you need to clear out, so why don't I give you a second, pause the video and type in all of the data. Alright, once you have the data in, then you want to make an exponential model. Okay, so where you go is you go to F4, and notice F4 on your calculator says calculate, and that's what we want to do, so F4. And then you want to arrow down to regressions, and then notice at regressions there's a right arrow, so you want a right arrow, and it's going to show you all your regression options. Okay, so we're looking for exponential regression, so if you arrow down you see exponential regression. If you go down one more you see power regression. We're going to come back and do that one in another video. So I'm going to choose exponential regression. And then it prompts you for your X list and your Y list. I'm actually going to clear these out just in case yours are cleared, and remind you where to go, or show you where to go to get your X and Y lists. So to get to your X list, you want to go to what's called your var link, and notice above subtraction in blue it says var link, so you have to do second subtraction. And look for your main menu, because I'm assuming that's where you're at. And under your main menu, you should have a series of lists. Okay, and you might have to go down further than I did, so you might have to arrow down a while, so pause the video if you need to find it. And I'm looking for list 1 because that's where I put my X data. So I choose list 1, and that's where my X data is. Then if you arrow down, you see it says your Y list, and that's where you want to find your Y data. So I go back to second subtraction, and I go down until I find list 2, and I select it. Then it says store regression equation into. Yours probably says none at this point. So if you right arrow, you can pick a y equals to store that into, so that's kind of nice. So if I, and you should, and remember where you store it. So I would recommend just storing it into your y1, so it's an easy thing for you to recall. Then frequency should be set at 1. You should never need to change that, and you don't need any category list, and then you're done. So if you press enter and give it a second, it's going to give you your exponential regression equation. Notice it says what a and b are. You don't have to worry about r and r squared until you get into statistics. Okay, so then I'm going to go over to my piece of paper, and I'm going to write down my results. Okay, so I got a was 2.5 and b was 3.5, so I plug in a and b here and write my equation, and that part is done. Then it says to predict y when x is 7. Well, I can go ahead and simply put in 7 for x, and then go to my home screen on my calculator, and I could type in 2.5 times 3.5 raised to the 7, and I get 16,084.82, and that's rounded, and that's pretty easy. But I want to show you something just in case these numbers like 2.5 and 3.5, maybe it's 2.58427 or something real crazy and you don't want to round it if it's irrational. You could do a really cool thing on your calculator. You can store what you want to, I'm sorry, if you go back to var link, which is above subtraction, and you have to be in your home screen. Okay, so go to your home screen, go second subtraction for var link. And then if you arrow down, and by the way, if you want to arrow down quicker, if you do second down, it'll skip through the next series. So arrow down until you see your y1. Okay, so here's my y1, so you want to see y1. And you select that, and it's going to give you an open parenthesis, so you tell it what you want to put in for x. Well, I want to put in 7 for x, and then I close my parenthesis. And when you press enter, it will store that 7 into your y1, into the equation that's stored into y1, and give you this answer. Okay, now this will only work if, when you made your regression, I'm going to show you this one more time, when you make that regression equation, right here where it says store a regression equation, if you don't store it into y1, then you can't do what I just showed you. So please make sure that you're always storing that into y1. And that's how you make an exponential model on your calculator.